All that glitters ain't gold.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you, and it is a special Christmas Eve edition, no days off here on the channel, as you guys know, and apparently no days off in the toy action figure news, as I really did think this would be a sleeper, really quick week with very little to talk about. Boy, was I ever wrong. One of the busiest news weeks of the year is leading up to Christmas. Just seems absolutely crazy as most people are trying to get vacation in or are on vacation. So it's just absolutely wild how much news we have here. We have 2 pages full of news, and we're going to cover it all here today. But first, let's get around some housekeeping stuff. First, of course, don't forget about the Patreon. Always plug the Patreon every single week, but it is your best way for early access to videos, Q&As, bonus episodes, all kinds of stuff, and best way to support the channel. As you guys do know, this weekend I will be filming a new Q&A for the Patreon, a Patreon exclusive. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check it out in the link in the description below. Of course, this month we have 2 giveaways. We got the G.I. Joe Classified Snake Eyes Wave. We're giving that whole set away, and then we're giving the Prophet Director Destro away this month. So 2 chances to win over there on the Patreon. And as usual, thank you guys for all your support. And thank you to all the new Patreon members. A big uptick in members over the last couple of weeks with, of course, the new action figure collection tour. If you guys missed that video, go check it out on the channel. 2 years in the making. It seems crazy. It's been about 2 years since I did my last one. But I invite you all into my house and say, okay, let's see what's going on. I'll take you around, and we go room by room and we talk about it. Much more to come in the future with some toy room tours. Obviously, for time purposes, we had to go pretty fast, but I'm thinking about possibly doing some videos of, okay, here's the Elite Collection. Here's just Thundercats. Here's just He-Man. You get the idea. So stay tuned for that on the channel, and make sure you do subscribe to this very YouTube channel. As you guys know, we got videos every single day, and then some at this point. But let's dive into the news of the week here, and what a news week, like I said. And really, honestly, the biggest news this week really was AEW, or let's just call it Jazwares, that is the company, being purchased by the Oracle of Omaha and Berkshire Hathaway. A lot of people maybe don't know about Warren Buffett. You should. I think he's like the 6th most richest person in the entire world. He has bought Jazwares. Very, very interesting, and it goes back to what I said a week, 2 weeks ago in Toy News video. Hey, why haven't we got anything from Jazwares? Why hasn't Jeremy been saying stuff? Well, when you're in the final stages of a business being purchased like this, if you're a CEO or one of the top guys at a company, guess what? Your lips are sealed. You're not saying anything to anybody. You're not talking. You're not going to say anything that could disrupt the sale, anything when you're talking millions and millions of dollars trading places. I think that has a lot to do with Jeremy's silence. Just like I did say in that video, there's something more to the story. And Jeremy did come out this week, and he did officially announce it on Twitter that, hey, Berkshire Hathaway picked up Jazwares. He also posted a message this week saying, look forward to the beginning of the year, new rollouts, new timetables, new figures, things like that. So we're back on the train there for Jazwares, but a very interesting thing. And Jazwares, you guys know, is the number 4 toy company in the world. We've talked about that in the past. But one thing that I think we all have to take that big step back, because the majority of the people that are watching this, you're probably wrestling figure fans. I'm guessing you probably are. And if you like wrestling figures, you're thinking AEW. That's Jazwares, AEW. But you got to pump the brakes a little bit, as they do have Fortnite, Roblox, Pokemon, Squishmallows. All of those probably are 10 times the bigger sellers than AEW as a whole. We got to be honest with ourselves. You see Squishmallows everywhere. You see Roblox, Pokemon everywhere. You don't see AEW everywhere. Let's be honest with ourselves. So it's not, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Warren Buffett and this company, they wanted AEW. It's so much more than AEW. It's so much bigger than AEW. Obviously, AEW is a part of that, but it isn't the defining part of this whole thing, that's for sure. And people thinking, oh yeah, now we're going to get our figures in scale, we're going to get that. Well, to think that Warren Buffett or even his crew or the Berkshire Hathaway crew is even thinking about wrestling, I would bet you $1 billion, yes, $1 billion of my own personal funds. I got them somewhere over here. I bet you $1 billion Warren Buffett probably has never even heard of AEW, let alone watched 1 second of the TV series or show. But he is quite the guy, of course. He is quite the businessman. He does buy companies. He changes things, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad, depending who you ask. And I'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. But he does change things and tries to make them even more profitable, to grow them and possibly flip them off for more money. I mean, that's what he does. He buys a lot of stocks and shares. He moves stuff around. Very funny and very ironic. Warren Buffett had a video come out. It's on YouTube. He sits down with Charlie Rose for about an hour, talks about his business, all that kind of stuff. If you're into Warren Buffett, you're into billionaires and how they go to market, I guess you could watch that video out there. But, of course, he is a big deal. But I did actually, a little birdie did tell me that Warren Buffett, he actually bought the company because he's so worked up about Jazwares and the staining of the figures. He said, well, there's only one way we're going to get this fixed. It's if I buy the company. Well, I like to pretend that's true, but wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? That isn't the case there. But Warren Buffett is a big deal. Every April, he has his stockholder meeting, and there's like 40,000 people that show up to his stockholder meeting to hear what he has to say. It is a very hard ticket to get to. I got some friends that actually go every single year, and it's like the biggest event of the year for them. And it's quite the guy. He's quite the history with him. I gotta think good things will happen for the most part. For the most part, we'll see. But what does this all mean at the end of the day? Well, I have personal experience with Warren Buffett a little bit. I guess not like I ever met the guy or anything like that. But at one time in my life, I was a member of the Kraft Foods family. Of course, you guys know Kraft Foods, Kraft Mac and Cheese. At the time, we owned Mondelez, Nabisco, all that kind of stuff. We had all Oreos, Capri Sun. I mean, just tons of stuff under the Kraft umbrella. I'm sure you have a dozen Kraft things in your house right now. So I worked at Kraft Foods at the time in a management level role. And during that process, there was a bit of a hostile takeover and turned into a Kraft-Heinz merger that really Warren Buffett and his team kind of helped push along and stuff. And it was a pretty tough time, as they did do a lot of job eliminations at the time. I had a lot of good friends I worked with that actually lost their job or were forced into early retirement, things like that. And the whole culture of the company really did change after Berkshire Hathaway and them got involved. And it takes about a year. Whenever there's a hostile takeover, whenever there's a selling of a business and stuff, there's not changes immediately. That never happens. It always takes about a year. And I've been a part of a few of these in my work career historically, and it's like clockwork. It takes about a year to get the changes there. And I do expect changes at the Jazwares team. You're going to see some senior level managers probably come and go. You're going to see some changes and stuff. I don't know if you're going to see really down to the AEW changes of things. Obviously, they got to be profitable. If they're not profitable, they'll probably get the axe. But you do see a lot of those changes, and I wasn't really feeling how Kraft was going at the time. I stuck it out maybe a year and a half, 2 years after all that kind of stuff. Whatever, what is time anymore? But I stuck it out, and then I ended up going off to greener pastures and more money somewhere else. That's kind of the way it goes sometimes. But it was interesting, and it definitely an interesting thing. It'll be interesting to chalk the future, pay attention to the future of the Jazwares team. Jeremy is still staying on, at least for now. I don't know if that will change or not, but he is staying on. And I'm sure it is nice to have him over there as team, because he really is the guy championing the AEW brand out over there. Say what you want about Jeremy. I know some people get worked up about him and stuff, but we're really fortunate to have him leading the charge on wrestling figures, because he is a fan at the end of the day, and he is championing that along, where other businessmen, I've seen a lot of them in my life. We talk about them all the time, about Target, Walmart buyers, things like that. They don't follow wrestling. They don't have a passion for it. So we are fortunate, no matter what you think, we are fortunate to have Jeremy Padawer there helping some stuff out. But all of this is worth watching. Like I said, probably a year from now, we'll see really the big changes there. But we have to remember that Squishmallows, Roblox, Pokemon, that's the bread and butter of Jazwares. It's not AEW. It is for us, but it isn't for the majority. It definitely isn't for the company when you take that business step back. So there you go. Quite the week this week in hostile takeovers, or whatever you want to call it. But we did get even more info this week from Mattel, and I did do a video on the channel covering Ringside Fest Day 1, Day 2, so check out that video. A lot of news from the Ringside Fest and the Mattel team and Ringside Collectibles, of course. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10% over there. A lot of news out of Ringside Fest this week, but there was a Day 3 where there was a Q&A. Of course, Steve Ozier, Robert Rudman were there with Ringside, asking some questions, things like that. I was very disappointed, though, they didn't take my question there. My question that I gave them, and they didn't answer it, I said, what's up with these chases? Having 2 in a series, we're seeing 2 in the Legends, we're seeing Ultimate having a chase. Is that going to be the way going forward? And they didn't answer that question. I'd love to know if we're going to have 2 chases going forward, or if it's just going to happen sometimes. Will the Ultimates always get a chase going forward? Some unanswered questions out there. So hopefully Mattel answers those one of those days very soon. But it was very, very interesting. A few notes, a lot of stuff wasn't really that newsworthy, but a few things. They talked about the old hot dog tan on Hulk Hogan. I've been a champion of the hot dog tan, as you guys know, for a long time. But apparently it's a Bill McKenna decision. They kind of threw Bill under the bus a little bit and said, hey, it's all up to Bill, and that's what he views is the way to go. But I think they've addressed that going forward. I think we'll see a lot more hot dog tan. I think they get the point by now. They also said in 2024 we're going to see a new torso for Hulk Hogan. Worries me a little bit as we might see a lot of Hogans we already have get ran back a little bit sooner with this new torso and maybe a hot dog tan to it. That's good and bad because we do want new figures, but I guess sometimes an update is worth the cause there. So we're going to see a little of that with Hogan in the future. Somebody did ask about the drop-down hips, if we're going to see that in the regular Elite line, and they said possibly here and there, and they compared it to the bent toe articulation like we see with The Fiend, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair. We've seen those in the past as well. So we might see some of the drop-down hips. I'm very interested to see how the drop-down hips work on the Ultimates. I'm not the biggest fan of them in the G.I. Joe Classified series. I know some people love them. Doesn't do a whole lot for me. We'll see what it does to the Ultimates in 2023, I guess. They asked something about accessory packs. Are we going to see more accessories? They said no, that doesn't really make sense for what they're doing. They do have those basic packs that have some of that coming out, so I guess that's kind of their answer to that, or best case. Steve Ozier did say he's very close to getting a referee in the line. He didn't say if it was generic or an actual referee or what. My gut kind of says it would be a good Build-A-Figure idea. I could see them maybe going the Build-A-Figure route for that. We'll see if that is the way they end up going to market there. But I think a lot of people are looking for a ref and scale. We had very high hopes this year for the FTC one. Came up a little bit short in more ways than one. So very well could get a Build-A-Figure referee or just a referee in general in 2023. So we'll stay tuned for that. But the biggest announcement here, of course, was the announcement that the Steiner brothers have been signed. We're going to get Steiner brother wrestling figures in 2023, I would have to imagine. I do bet you anything at the Access in March. I think WrestleMania is in March. Maybe it's April, but you know what I mean. The Access event, I bet you we see prototypes for the Steiners there. To me, if you're going to start with Steiner figures, let's go old school Steiners. Let's get them in their varsity jackets. We're not going to have the M on there, so the customizers of the world, they better get after that. Start making those jackets now because people are going to want those. But I got to see them in their Michigan varsity jackets. So many different looks to the Steiner brothers, just in kind of the wild 90s colors, the mullets, things like that. But then moving them on to their solo careers, later careers, there is tons and tons of versions of the Steiners that can be done, and I hope they get after them pretty quick. I mean, I don't necessarily need a Steiner in every single series, but let's get it about every other series. Let's mix it from the Elite line, the Legends line, some different lines. Let's really mix them in because much like Hulk Hogan in the past, I could see something going south with especially Scott Steiner and losing the rights to the Steiner brothers. So we need to get those key ones first. Let's get those out there. Let's get them to us. But I'm very excited. As an old school Steiner Brothers fan, very happy to get these guys here finally. So that was the biggest news out of the Ringside Fest Q&A, if you ask me. But very, very exciting times for us. We needed a shot in the arm of big, heavy hitter characters back in there. I love getting the Hogans. I love getting some of those guys all the time. But it's time to get some new blood in there, a little bit of newer blood. But one thing that was really interesting, we saw the Hogan Beat Shop reveals. We saw the Ringside Fest reveals. Where is the Ultimate Warrior? Where is the Ultimate Warrior figures? I know, a lot of you guys are sick of Warrior overload. I'm not, though. I want more Warriors. But it's very interesting. It doesn't look like we're going to have any more Ultimate Warrior figures for any time real soon. Nothing is on the plates. Nothing has been announced. I hope they haven't lost the rights to the Ultimate Warrior. That would be pretty devastating if we did. But then I guess he could always go to the other companies and get some third-party stuff made, I guess, if we really needed to. But hopefully we get some more Ultimate Warriors in the future. I hope they still have him under license. But that was kind of shocking. We saw some of the other guys, the Hulkster, for example. But where's the Warrior? Where is the Warrior? I guess more to come. Stay tuned on that one. Some other miscellaneous wrestling figure notes this week, and like I said, big week for news this week. The Kane Ultimate Ring shipping right now from Ringside Collectibles, if you got in on the pre-order there. January 4th, it sounds like that will be up on Mattel Creations, so if you're looking for that and you missed it at Ringside, it will be over there on Mattel Creations January 4th. Not sure if Ringside's getting another batch in or what. I guess we'll have to stay tuned for all that. It does sound like the Rick Rude, Jake Roberts, possibly on the 20th of January. It sounds like the 20th of January there's going to be another Mattel Creations thing for sale. Possibly that one, but more likely it's probably the new retros. I wonder if that's going to be the orange card retros. I'm not sure, but there is something on the books there for the 20th, so we'll stay tuned. We should know that very, very soon. My gut says it's probably the next retro 4-pack, but we'll see what happens with that. We did see a few other things this week, too, from Mattel, as we did finally see the Elite Series 100 packaging. We knew they would have some special packaging for this, and that's what they gave us. I know some people are a little disappointed by it. It doesn't look fancy enough, but I don't know. I think there's always going to be somebody complaining. It's always going to miss expectations. But if you think about it, it's very similar stylized packaging with kind of the black as Basic Series 100. And we did a really good video on the channel about Basic Series 100, a very interesting set with a chase of a chase, which you don't see very often. Just a very, very interesting set. And I got to think, and I was thinking about it before I closed my eyes for bed last night. I said, I think I need Elite Series 100 Minim box as well as loose. So I might be doing that down the line as well. So we'll see what happens there. So that was interesting. We also saw the rest of Elite 100. We saw the fancy pictures of them. Of course, we saw them at the Hogan's Beach Shop, things like that. But they did go through kind of the glamour shots of all those, which was really cool. So we did see Andre the Giant. We saw the extra hands he's coming with, the title belt, of course, his special title belt. We did see John Cena. We saw John Cena. Of course, he has the spinning title belt. And the title belts are the big thing of this set here, is everybody has a title belt. First time in the line title belt, I guess we'll say. The Rock's there. The Rock, a bit of a 2-in-1 with the jersey, without the jersey, depending how you want to play that, with the Brahma Bull title. That one is in Elite 100. Becky Lynch, which really in picture-wise looks like the worst one of the set. I'm very interested to see how that one is in hand, but you get a little bit of a redone women's title belt there. Stunning Steve Austin, I'm very excited about this one. This is another one. The head looks a little weird to me in pictures. Can't wait to get that on my desk here at the table, of course, because I'm a huge Stunning Steve fan. That was my favorite incarnation of Steve Austin. I love the Dangerous Alliance. I love that time. I loved his time back in USWA when I was a kid. So I'm very excited to get this Stunning Steve one, and it is really cool. And then, of course, Rey Mysterio, new title belt with him. It's a throwback Rey, which a lot of people will like as well. But Elite 100 coming very soon. This could be here in the next couple of weeks if you ordered from Ringside. So very excited to get that. And can you believe it? 100 series of the Elite line. Just absolutely phenomenal. Quite the time. What a time to be alive. How about that one there? We also saw Basic Series 137, a very interesting set there. Seth Rollins going to be the chase, and man, that's an interesting one. It kind of looks like Tomax and Zaymot from G.I. Joe is almost how it looks, like a little bit of opposite, but the chase does have a little bit more design on the tights, but a very, very interesting looking figure there. We did see Austin Theory. That's going to be an easy pass. As we do know, we learned at Ringside Fest this week, we got 2 more Austin Theories coming with a Chase edition very soon. Commander Aziz, that's probably first time in the line, last time in the line. Got to pick that one up for sure. Aaliyah, I'm all in on that one. I think that one looks really, really good. And then Roman and Seth, those are both easy passes for me. We get so many of those guys in the Elite line. They don't really feel special in the Basic line. At least these two do not to me. So I won't be picking them up. But a lot of stuff coming from Mattel. And obviously, the holiday season coming to a close. There was more deals this year than ever before. And a lot of people are saying, I'm going to play the long game next year to Christmas because look at these Ringside deals. I'm going to jump on all these next year. That sounds good in theory, but we've talked a lot about the channel here. I guarantee Ringside's no different than Walmart and Target. They see sales dropping on a lot of stuff, so they're not going to be ordering in the quantities they ordered in 2021, 2022 for the 2023 season. So I do think we're going to see an interesting year, the changing of the guards a little bit, and you're going to see some stuff sell out a lot faster that won't be restocked because Ringside, Target, Walmart didn't order enough or what, because you're always forecasting, trying to find that sweet spot. You don't want too little, you don't want too much. And usually the companies, they err on the side of caution. They're going to order too little over too much. So I think you'll have deals next year for Ringside, of course, holiday season, but I don't think you'll see anything like we saw this year. Same thing goes for Entertainment Earth. You're not going to see those hot deals, I don't think, next year either, because they're pulling in the reins. They're going to save some money. They're not going to pre-order as much product going forward. So it's going to be an interesting 2023 for sure. A couple other wrestling notes this week. A lot of wrestling news this week leading into Christmas. Wrestling Trader showed off prototype of Barbarian. Of course, we saw Warlord before. Barbarian coming from Wrestling Trader, the old Cella toys, I guess we'll call it. So make note of that if you're looking for old Barbarian. Rush Collectibles coming in really hot, and I really love this idea here, as we do got Extreme Ring Masters Matt Cardona. Now, this is the ECW style figures, and this is the biggest troll job ever, and I like what Matt Cardona is doing here. He originally said he didn't want any part of this line, didn't feel right for him because he wasn't in ECW. But if you've seen some of his recent stuff here, you know, he's trolling the ECW hardcores in Philadelphia. He brought out the WWE ECW title, says the ECW original, things like that. So it's really kind of an all-around troll job here. And then Matt, of course, he wants an action figure himself. Of course he does. So really a cool way to get in this line. It is really fun, and I like the idea of this. Now, will we see this? That's the left to be seen, I guess. We'll see what happens with him. We'll see what happens with him in his career. If he goes to WWE first of the year, well, you might not see this figure ever come to fruition. But it is a cool idea, I think, at the end of the day. Zombie Sailor, he can't mess around. Jeff Jarrett shipping to people this week. We might have a little more of that in weekly purchases. Stay tuned to that. But Zombie Sailor showing off the old Big Cat Curtis Hughes, old school WCW and WWF, of course. I remember him more fondly from WCW than WWF. I'm sure I'm in the minority there. But of course, he is going to come with the Undertaker's urn, which is a nice one. His hat is removable. Coming sometime, maybe 2023, maybe 2024, who knows with that one. So pretty crazy there. There was a note this week, and I saw it online. It said, holiday discounts are already hard to resist. The best bargains are yet to come. This is off of CNN, and I don't know if they've been watching the channel or what, but I've been saying that since like March and April time frame, that there's going to be some huge sales come Christmas time, but then just wait. Hold on after Christmas. The Walmarts, Target specifically, they are swimming in product. We're going to see a clearance season like we've never seen before this January, all the way up to about Valentine's Day or so. That's usually when the new toy resets happen at Target and Walmart. So you got about a 6-week window, and if you saw my toy hunt in the last couple of weeks, some of the Walmarts are already starting clearance early, even before Christmas. That tells you something. So long gamers, if there's stuff you want at Walmart and Target and it's in heavy numbers, guess what? You're going to get a heck of a deal. I'm already seeing that Marvel Legends, the latest set there with Speedball, US Agent, Blue Marvel, $7.98 dropping in price already. There's some deals to be had. So CNN, they must be watching the channel, like I said, as they just had an article this week all about that. So there you go. I told you guys. I told you. So that's going on. And then some miscellaneous. Whoa. Stop the Christmas clock. A work day is never done. As I finished up the toy news, we had a few updates that came through. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to wait a full week. I'm just going to put a little edit in here and share it in this very toy news video here for Christmas Eve. So we're going to kick it off with Mondo. And of course, I just got shipping for my Mondo He-Man a little bit earlier than I expected. So next week, I'm going to get the brand new He-Man from Mondo. As you guys know, I still got the She-Ra and I still got the Skeletor I have yet to unbox. So stay tuned for those on the channel. We're getting behind on some unboxings, if you can believe it. So you Patreon members, you're going to get a dump of a lot of videos here well before YouTube, as you can imagine. But I did get an email from Mondo. It says, you're receiving this message because I purchased the She-Ra. Since the fulfillment of these orders, they've documented a particular pattern of damages that falls short of our high-quality standards. As part of our long-held mission, we strive to provide all Mondo collectors with the best possible experience. Accordingly, we'll be shipping a new She-Ra head to each customer expected in February 2023. Well, I guess I don't even know that, as I have not unboxed that figure yet. So maybe I'm very happy I haven't unboxed it yet, because who knows, I might have had a meltdown right there on camera for all you guys to see. But it sounds like a She-Ra. We're getting a replacement head in the future. So if you did order that She-Ra, I guess be on the lookout for that one there. We did get, at closing here, a few things that did pop up. We saw some packaging images, apparently overseas. The Crimson Bat and CoverGirl packages are coming out for G.I. Joe Classified. Some people have received these figures. Man, I hate that artwork on the G.I. Joe CoverGirl figure. I do not like this at all. The Crimson Bat is okay. I like that a little bit more, but I don't know. Something that's too anime, it's too something. I don't know, but that CoverGirl does not work for me. Luckily, I don't have to see it very long because I am an out-of-box collector. So there you go right there. We also saw Ringside Collectibles showing off a little bit of the Chase and regular edition Razor Ramon for the Ultimate Edition line. Very cool, multiple heads, and I love that this is a Chase you could really mix and match and really make them as different as possible. And I also love the nod to these two, with the nod to Hasbro with the purple and kind of the yellow versions of Razor Ramon. I think that is a really cool idea. Remember, the purple is the Chase in here, so for those keeping track, that's going to be the purple, will be the Chase. Then finally, we saw a little AEW announcement here. So very interesting. We talked about it in the news here, but we did get some digital renders shown for Christmas. I guess they said, let's give them a Christmas present. Let's get it. And we got the digital render of Danhausen. Now, some people are already complaining, we want Danhausen with a removable shirt, we want all the tattoos, all that kind of stuff. Well, we got to put our business hat on. It is the toy business. This is, if you're a businessman like the Jazwares team, and old Warren Buffett, he's the definition of a businessman, but I don't think he had anything to do with this at all, so I'm not going to give him any credit. But Danhausen in a jacket makes the most sense. That's how he did debut. It was a while before we saw him without a shirt, and guess what? They want to make as many Danhausens as they can make, so believe you me, we'll get this one in a hard goods jacket. We'll get another one down the road in a soft good jacket. We'll get some with different face paint. You're going to get one with no jacket. You'll probably get a Supreme down the road. They are going to milk Danhausen for all that he is worth. Just look at Sting. Just look at Darby Allin. They're going to do the same thing with Danhausen. So just be happy we got a Danhausen, and I guess stay tuned for the rest. As you know, 2023, 2024, it'll be the year of Danhausen with AEW Jazwares. So we did see that. We did see some sculpting for a Swerve Strickland. Of course, we did get a Swerve in the basic Mattel line about a year ago. Now we're getting his first AEW figure. It looks good. It'll be interesting how it looks once you put a little paint, a little color on that one. And then it was very controversial, as we do know. Of course, Owen Hart. We did get the exclusive from Ringside Collectibles not too long ago. Now we're getting the Luminaries collection in the Unmatched Wave. Similar but different, I guess we could say here. I know a lot of people are probably going to buy an extra one of these to put on the stained one, because we do know some of the Ringside ones with the jacket did stain, unfortunately. A hallmark of Jazwares. One that Warren Buffett will get figured out, I'm sure. But we do get that same title belt. I don't know about that head floating there to the side. It looks a little kind of goofy to me. Maybe it's just bad camera work. I'm not exactly sure. But we are getting our second Owen Hart figure. Still not exactly what everybody has been wanting, but it's getting closer. We're getting closer, so there you go. And then finally we did see some extra heads. So interesting, they showed some heads of some of the future sculpts. These look really good, but once they get to manufacturing, once they get to prototype, they'll probably still look good. But as we see with any toy line, once it gets to mass produced, something's usually lost in translation. That's what happens there. But first look at the Acclaimed. I know a lot of people looking for that one. Of course, Claudio Castagnoli, everybody wants that one. Brody King, that should be a very Toyotic one. And then Tony Storm, I'm not sure about that head sculpt there. It looks a little bit interesting, a little bit strange, but hey, we're here for it all day long, so we'll see what happens there. But a little Jazwares update never hurt anybody, especially on a Christmas Eve edition of the Toy News. Some miscellaneous news to close out the Toy News of the week here. Marvel Legends, of course, the 20th of the month, they did announce Franklin Richards, which made a lot of us head scratch, of course, but I haven't been following the Fantastic Four. He's not that blonde-haired little kid anymore. He's grown up. He's got dark hair now. So very much reuse on this one. A lot of reuse on this one. Different head and stuff, but a little bit more Fantastic Four. I don't think they mentioned anywhere where this is going to be, what series, what set, anything like that. So I guess stay tuned on that one. We'll see what comes from that. But Franklin Richards coming to Marvel Legends 2023. A little bit of DC McFarlane stuff this week. They announced Calabac. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Almost looks like Ulick the Troll for Marvel Legends. We are getting a big deluxe Calabac figure here from McFarlane Toys. We also announced the next wave of Superpowers. There's another one going down to clearance. I'm seeing $7 in my stores. Could they go to $3 or $4? I think they will. We're getting the next round of Superpowers. We're getting Wonder Woman, an OG one, of course. We're getting Nightwing and Deathstroke as well. Easy passes for me. I mean, if they were $2 or something, maybe I'd pick them up, but more Superpowers coming for you collectors of Superpowers out there. In interesting news this week as well, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style McFarlane Toys jumping into the Turtle line, and of course, everybody has a Turtle property. Pretty much everybody anywhere has Ninja Turtle property. But McFarlane Toys is going to do it based on the 2023 Seth Rogen cartoon. So we'll see. I'm most likely not picking these ones up. I haven't even watched that or know anything about it. So probably an easy pass for me and an easy pass for my wallet. But if you're into McFarlane Toys, you're into Turtles, could be your year in 2023. So stay tuned to that. It looks like they got a ton of stuff coming. And if they do it like their DC figures, you're going to have so much Turtle stuff, you're not going to know what to do. Your head's going to be spinning, that's for sure. And then finally this week, NECA, they always do this time of year, is they give kind of a poster of all their different figures of the year, and they always give us some sneak peeks into the future. And we did see the brand new Ninja Turtle ones. We saw the Gremlins one. We saw the NECA Universal Monster one. Just really cool the way to go there. The Turtle one's very interesting because, boy, the cuts are getting deeper and deeper. There's a lot of characters I do not remember, but still some cool ones. Some of the characters we did see at San Diego Comic-Con, of course, in 2022 as well. So a lot of Turtles to come for you cartoon fans, myself included, in 2023. Gremlins, we only saw what? I think we already knew these ones were coming, but the Ultimate Spider, the Bat Gremlin, and the Tattoo Gremlins, we already knew those were coming, so we did see those there. But the Universal Monsters was pretty interesting. We did see some of the new ones coming, and we did see, hey, we're going to get black and whites of most of these guys as well. Phantom of the Opera, of course. Creature of the Black Lagoon, I'm really excited for that one. I'm definitely getting both versions, black and white and the green colored one. We also saw Professor Burke, and then Nosferatu. We saw 2 versions of him. We do know Super 7 has Nosferatu coming as well, so much more to come on that line there with the Universal Monsters. Just a lot of stuff coming from a NECA team, of course. But very cool. And like I said, Nosferatu, I don't know if he's necessarily Universal Monsters at the end of the day. He is, I don't know what property he is, but I guess they're kind of just lumping him in there because he is horror. He is classic horror for sure. Now we're going to turn our attention. I'm going to get my phone out here, and we got a little bit of a Super 7 update for things to come from Super 7. All right, I got my phone. As if you're in part of the Super 7 mailing list, they do send an email out, and we got a big update for the year end on Super 7. Some of the Ultimates we've been waiting on. There's a lot of stuff we've had pre-ordered that should have been here by now that has been delayed. It's getting a little bit clearer here, but first one they talk about is Andre the Giant in yellow trunks. Production is finished, product left factory on 11/18, and will ship to customers mid-January. So we got an Andre the Giant in yellow trunks. We also have a Mattel Basic coming out around the same exact time, so that's an interesting thing to note. Another one is Andre the Giant in his black singlet. Now, we've talked about the Ultimate Edition coming from Mattel. Well, the Ultimate from Super 7 is coming, and it sounds like that's leaving the factory soon. Going to be delivered to customers late February. So interesting there, as I've heard a lot of people cancel their Super 7 Andres because they have a Mattel Ultimate coming their way. So it's going to be an interesting one on that Andre the Giant figure. A couple other ones we're interested in here. Bruce Lee figures. Bruce Lee sounds like he's coming early May and end of June for the 2 versions of him. G.I. Joe, now that's what I'm really excited for here, is Wave 1 is in production and leaving the factory soon. Shipping to customers in late February. Now, we were supposed to have that, I think, like September of this year, so a long delay there. Then Wave 2, scheduled to leave factory early March, ship to customers late April. So really, the February to April timeframe is going to be very busy if you have a lot of Super 7 pre-orders. Wave 3, tooling review, looks like it's coming late May. It can join with Bruce Lee, apparently. King Diamond number 2, late June for King Diamond number 2. How about this one? Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Wave 2, Brian Myers, Matt Cardona, engineering 3D at the factory currently, scheduled to leave the factory in early October and ship to customers in late November. So that means you're getting that about a year from now. Now, that pre-order went up, what, 4 or 5 months ago, it seems like? I could be off on that. But that is a long wait for that Major Wrestling Figure 2, or Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Series 2 set right there. And there is no update on Gallows and Anderson here. So is that one scratched? I wouldn't be shocked to see that one kind of just disappear. Maybe everybody gets refunded. Did that even go up for pre-order? I think it did. But that very well could be. They're obviously back with WWE now, so that might be silently off the table. We'll see what happens there. Power Rangers Wave 1 shipping to customers in February. That's one we should have had as well. Series 2 shipping in May. Series 3 late July for those keeping track at home. One I'm really excited about, my boy Lemmy, and of course Christmas Eve is Lemmy's birthday. Oh, Lemmy, we miss you. The world just hasn't been the right without you since you left. He would have been 77 if you could believe that. But Lemmy is reviewing 3D outfits from factory, scheduled to leave the factory late April and ship to customers early June. Happy birthday to Kyle. That is my birthday month in June. I'm going to consider Lemmy my birthday present, so that is really cool there. Nosferatu, we talked about him in NECA. Of course, we got the Super 7 one coming. That's going to be in mid-August. And Simpsons is another one. Very interesting here. Series 1, mid-January. Series 2, October. Wow, that is a heck of a delay there for the Simpsons stuff. Boy, oh boy, October. And then you're looking at Series 3 in November. So a lot of these are well over a year since the pre-orders went up. Just tough times over there with Super 7. And not Super 7 so much, probably factory issues is what is doing that. Slayer, remember the Slayer Ultimate Edition? Show No Mercy Minotaur. Tooling at the factory, scheduled to leave September, shipped to customers mid-October. Man, I think that went up for pre-order in like May or something like that. So we got some big delays there. The Party Wagon, mid-September? Wow, that is a big delay as well, as that was supposed to be here right now. That is almost a year delay on the Party Wagon. Wave 7, leave the factory mid-September, shipped to customers. Foot Soldier Glow-in-the-Dark Edition, I have that in my possession. That already came out there. Mid-January, the Mutagen Ooze Turtles. I believe that's the glow-in-the-dark turtles. Sounds like those are coming mid-January. Wave 8, mid-August. So Wave 8 is going to come before Wave 7, it looks like. And then we got Wave 9 looking at September. So we're going to get a couple of rounds of turtles here, and then there's going to be a long drought of turtle product from the Ultimate Wave. And then Thundercats here, another good one. Mandora and the Electric Charger coming in early January. Early February is going to be the Thunder Tank. We've been waiting well over a year for the Thunder Tank, but that thing looks massive. I cannot wait to get that here at the table, of course. February, late February, that's a pretty good turnaround for the toy recolors of Thundercats. Of course, the nod to the LJN classics back in the day. That's a pretty good turnaround. October for Wave 7. Ghost Jaga is going to come out in mid-September. It doesn't list the Big Bad Toy Store Tigra. I think that is supposed to be February as well, if I'm not mistaken. And then the final one here that well, there's a couple of things. That Toxic Crusaders Wave 3, looks like that's coming in August, so that'll be well over a year as well. Transformers Wave 2, late February. I'm so excited for that Grimlock. Wave 3, you're looking at July. Wave 4 in September. So, man, some delays with Super 7, but there's a lot of product in the pipeline there. Going to be a very interesting 2023 for toy collectors. Where's the money going to go? The inflation is still there. Things aren't going to go back in price. Will people be ordering as much quantity? There's a lot of unknowns in 2023, and we'll talk about it all on the Toy News edition every single Saturday here on the channel, so make sure you do subscribe. Well, that's it for the news, but we got to finish it off. It is Christmas Eve. We got to finish it off with the Album of the Week. Album of the Week, Halford 3 winter songs. Of course, Rob Halford singing Christmas songs that he made up or wrote with Roy Z. If you don't know Roy Z, look up Roy Z. But a fabulous album. My favorite Christmas album of all time, most likely, gun to my head. You cannot beat that album. Check that one out. He also did a follow-up album. It's okay. More traditional stuff on that one. But the first one, the winter songs, that's the Christmas heavy metal album of a generation. Some might even say a lifetime. So that is Album of the Week, Halford Winter Songs. So there you go. There it is. That is a week. What a week of toy news for Christmas Eve of all things. And I hope all you guys are celebrating Christmas out there. Have a good Christmas. Of course, I'll be back with reviews tonight, reviews Christmas Day, weekly purchases on Christmas Day. We'll have all that stuff for you as we usually do. No days off over here. Hardest working man in show business, like a young James Brown, as you guys know. But make sure you do subscribe to this very YouTube channel. Make sure you check out the toy tour on my channel as well. A lot of fun stuff there. A lot of years in the making, as you guys know. But make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give this video and all the videos a good old thumbs up. It does help the channel. And then don't forget about the Patreon if you really want to support the channel. You get early access to all the videos. You get bonus content. You get Q&A. You get pizza reviews, dog stuff. You name it, you get it, and best of all, you do support the channel. You also can support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson, and don't forget about social media. SirPaul64 is where you're going to find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for a Christmas Eve edition of Toy News for the Week, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.